Who is Santa Muerte really? I'm here to do another video on Santa Muerte, and I'm gonna tag this to a Santa Muerte series because we need to really break down the misconceptions of her. I know that she's been represented a lot in like narco culture and like coyote culture and like all these movies, right, where she's like helping these drug lords and drug dealers. And I want to talk about her from a different realm. I also want to talk about her from a place that isn't all about like, oh, I work with Santa Muerte, like my enemies must bow down to me and all that, because quite frankly, like, that's a vibration that is kind of low. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. So I'm gonna talk about her from the ways in which I worked with her, because she was my first spirit guide. So the first thing that you have to know is that Santa Muerte is a very elder kind of deity. She is the Aztec goddess Mecatlancutli. So that is where she originally comes from, and through time and through the influence of Catholicism spreading all around Mexico as well as Latin America, she became more of a santa, like a saint-like figure. Of course, she is not a saint that is seen in the Catholic Church, which is why I like her, because she's just her own being, and she's her own consciousness, and she is having an expansion that is so radical. I was working with her like maybe 6-7 years ago, and her imagery, people working with her, has blown up, and I'm grateful. And I'm going to talk about my experiences with her, because when I first started connecting with her was through meditation. I didn't understand her so much. I just knew she was always following me around. I would always see her through peripheral vision. Peripheral vision is like visions on the side. Anytime I would walk, and I would see her imagery everywhere, and I would be like, okay, why is this following me out of nowhere? At the time, I was still reading tarot, but I wasn't really connecting with spirit guides. Like, I'm an espiritista, meaning that I do connect with spirit guides, ancestors, deities, all that. But she was my first one. And I remember being so scared. I remember seeing her images everywhere. I remember having peripheral visions and on meditations. I would see her and I would be like, why is she showing up? In my meditation, my first time I ever lit a candle for her, for any spirit actually, I remember her hand being over my head. And I asked though prior, if you are here, show me a sign that you're here. And I felt somebody touching the scalp of my head, but in a loving, caring way. And I remember after that, I was I was in another meditation, and I remember I heard, do you fear me? Do you fear me getting close to you? Do you fear death? And at the time, I just felt like, you know what? I'm scared of you, but I still feel drawn to you. I'm just gonna have to let go. And in the vision, she showed her scythe like slashing through me, but instead of it like cutting my body and like me bleeding, I just saw like flowers growing. And I realized that her role in my life was to shed away all this gunk that I had in terms of my perspective, fears that I had, remorse that I had. At the time, I was still dealing with loss in the family. I had two important people pass away, one of them including my dad. And I remember feeling like I couldn't have forgiven him for stuff, so there wasn't a lot of closure. And let me tell you something, in the spirit realm, you can find closure with anybody who's crossed over. You could connect with ancestors, you could connect with guides, and Santa Muerte is a bridge to that. So Santa Muerte is actually the one who helps those who have died to cross over in a healthy way, and also helps us in contact with them. And I don't like to use the word died, so I'm going to take that back, those who have ascended, because now they are in a higher state of consciousness, in a higher state of being. Now they are in an etheric plane with the ancestors, so they're doing well. And with Santa Muerte, what she showed me once is her real image. Like, she said, don't look at me as the skull, don't look at me as the scythe, look at me for who I am. And I saw an indigenous elder brown woman, and she said, I have helped spirits cross over for time and time again. I have helped many like you time and time again. And it feels like her time is real back, like real soon. A lot of ancient gods are coming back, and a lot of us are the children of ancient gods. We used to be their students and disciples sometimes in past lives. So whoever you're drawn to, obviously, like, have maturity, have some discipline, and come with respect, but understand that a lot of like humanity has been caught up in what is good versus bad, and it's very easy to look at Santa Muerte and see like a skull, see a scythe, and you immediately think that she's bad. But what if I told you that she has a role just like anything else? The underworld has a role just like the heavens do, and the underworld brings regulation. Santa Muerte also helped me go through a lot of shadow work. A lot of people who become her children never really had easy lives. I'm gonna be 100%. Like, we had difficult lives. That's why you see a lot of LGBT people working with her, because those are people who have been outcasted, sometimes by their own family. And then you have people who have been involved in crime, who have been involved in the streets, like who had hard lives, and they go to her because people who go to her know that she's non-judgment. And honestly, when it comes to offerings, like, she's so chill. She doesn't really ask for a lot. This doesn't mean you're gonna be lazy, but she's somebody who works with your means as a spirit guide. And there are spirit guides that are very bougie. I'm very grateful that she was my first. She'll literally be like, okay, if you're eating apples, I want an apple. If you're eating oranges, I want an orange. If you're having coffee, I want coffee. It's very chill transactions like that. And it's not about, oh, I'm going to give you this and you do this for me. It's more of like a flow, right? Like, I would really say, like, have flow with her, because to me, she feels like an elder woman, like almost like I call her like my chola grandmother, but you know, she's far more than that. That's just the way I relate to her. And she's really chill. Like, if you're coming in with the perspective of growing as a person, with expanding your consciousness, with letting go of fear, then you're perfect. And even to this day, after like 5 years of working with her, she's still somebody who calls me out on my BS. She calls me out on my self-limiting beliefs, on my fears, and she will tell me, you need to get out of that. You need to get it together. So she is very loving and nurturing, but at the same time, she is somebody who's going to call you out. And she's really just wanting you to have your highest good. So she'll even like make you rise to the occasion. Like, sometimes we could shut off our own dreams, right? Like, she'll tell me, like, why are you playing small? Why are you settling for like the bare minimum? Like, yes, you should be grateful, but you secretly know you want more. So start admitting that you want more, and that way we as your guides can start giving you more. Like, she is so straight up and making sure that anything you have inside of you that feels like a limitation is gonna be erased. So she helps us even with the metaphorical sense of death, right? Like death and rebirth, purging away old ideas and moving forward. I'm gonna do another video soon on like her aspects as well. But if you're new to her, I would really say it depends on what color you're seeing. If you're seeing white, then that's going to be purification, healing, cleansing. A lot of people who are like in hospitals tend to see like the white Santa Muerte. If you're seeing black, that means protection. And she might have to beat somebody up for you. No shade. And the black is, you know, it's a guard. She's guarding you. She's protecting you. She's also doing shadow work with the black though too, because when her black side has shown to me, it's because I had some crazy, you know, antics inside of me that she helped me move through. And I'm gonna be honest, she is very, very big on those who are marginalized, like people who go through a lot of societal injustices. And when the black side comes in, her black aspect, her black cloak, she's making sure that justice is being served where it needs to be served at. So if you're going through anything because you're a woman, you're gay, you're trans, whatever it may be, like even racism, she's going to make sure that her darker aspect comes in and calls things out. And another popular aspect of hers is the red, which is seen for different interpretations. Honestly, for me, the red is like about like passion, like it's about like fire energy. So it can be used for confidence, but some people connect with the red aspect of her for like sensuality and lust and romance. And yeah, she could bring that in too. If everything has a death, if everything has an end, then that means everything has a rebirth and a life. And if she's the bridge between life and death, then that's why she has so many different abilities, so many different aspects. And she's a really cool spirit to work with, very easygoing so long as your intentions are good. And no, she's not out here to like curse your enemies and all this. Like, if she has to protect you, she will do so on her own will. And that's really how it works. It's not that big of a deal. Lastly, I have a rainbow cloak here because that's a way of me connecting with all her different aspects at once. And because I worked with her for a while, like I've worked with some of the different aspects like individually, and I can honestly say it's so much fun to work with her. So if you're new to this, then I hope this video was a service for you. If you have any questions about how to connect with her, I am much more than happy to answer them in the comments below. And if you want to follow me on social media or even get a private reading with me, private spiritual consultation on how to work more on one-on-one with Santa Muerte or any of the guides I talk about, and I'll link all of that below, like videos on different guides I work with, then feel free to reach out. You can contact me via email. The email address is below, or you can contact me via Instagram, all right? Stay beautiful, stay abundant, stay great.